Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading Scaramouche Listener by me. So let's get into it. Scaramouche never thought that he would be in such a position. Never in his life. But then again, if you were to be honest, a lot of his life was rather unexpected, and a lot of the things that happened to him would never happen to anyone else. That's not to say that he truly expected to walk in and see what happened. He knew your father was horrible. That was something you told him about enough. And he could not wait for you to just make that move and leave him. For your own good and your own safety. He couldn't stand you being in constant danger just because you wanted to stay with him. Because you were family. Family didn't mean anything, and you had to find that out the hard way. Through his own mother who abandoned him. And he knows your father isn't any better, just for keeping you around. So, after some time, he decides he wants to confront you about it. And he goes to your home when he knows your father is not supposed to be there, if only because you told him not to visit you at any time where he may be present, because your father may get violent, or the two of them may get into an argument. And that would be the last thing that you want. You don't want Scaramouche to argue with anyone, especially considering that he may not hold back at all and be a bit violent. You didn't want any violence from him, especially not against your own father, of all people. That would be a disaster, one that you did not want to see happen. So when he goes to your home and sees how things are, it's beyond unpleasant. At first, you open the door, and you're smiling, or at least struggling to, and you can clearly tell he's not an idiot. Wyan, what's going on? Why are you acting like that? And then he hears your father asking who it is on the door, and he frowns. He's here? Why didn't you tell me? I didn't know he would be staying. Just come in. Or don't. You could go outside if you... Wyan, tell me, who was out the door? Your father screamed from his own place on the couch, doing absolutely nothing. And Scaramouche was growing furious by the moment. It felt like it was a disaster just waiting to happen. You couldn't just think of something to do at all. That would not be risking anything here. You felt like you were trapped, for lack of better wording. There was nothing you could think of that you could do that would be safe and harm as little people as possible. So, you decided to hell with it. You were going to be honest and tell Scaramouche to come in. You couldn't hide this any longer, and your father would eventually know. Come in, Scara. I'm sure that he will be delighted to meet you, you say stubbornly, and he smiles, kissing your cheek before he can see, and heading inside to see you and your father interact. Father, that is Scaramouche, my boyfriend. Your boyfriend? You never told me you had one. And so it started, and Scaramouche wishes it had not, because he's feeling more balanced by the moment. As much as he wanted you to be stubborn and to stand up for yourself, he also knew you were not strong, and not someone who was willing to put up a fight. You were too soft for that, which is not an insult, to say the least. He just knows that you're not meant for it. And it's not a bad thing about you. But it is still something that frustrates him. How you needed his protection, and how you couldn't be there when you needed him most. And right now, even when he was there, he was hesitating. He didn't know what would be appropriate. But his hesitation came to an end when he saw your father raise his hand against you, as your voices raised higher and higher. And so he stepped in immediately, shoving him away. Just what do you think you're doing, you crazy man? Are you trying to hit her? Yes, I am. And what, are you gonna stop me in my own home? Your father spat back. And Scaramouche, while he was trying his best to be as non-violent as possible, but you see, your father was not really helping him. So, when he retaliated, he thinks it's absolutely not his fault at all. He used a little bit of power, enough to knock him out. He didn't want to hear that voice of his, and he did not want to hear you be insulted, because he knew if he heard one more bad word about you again, he would not be able to hold it back. In fact, he's not sure if he would be able to leave him alive. So what he was doing for his own safety, and for his own personal relief as well. Come on, Moyan, we're leaving. Scaramouche, you can't just do that. That's my father you're talking about. And he's fine. He'll wake up in an hour. Now, come on. If he wakes up, he's going to hurt you, Moyan. I can't just let him do that. Now, come on. Unless you want to stay. Fine. I'm coming, but promise me, Scaramouche. Promise me that you will never hurt him like that again. Well, I won't need to hurt him if I don't see him. Now, come on. Please. He said. And you did want to leave too. So you eventually just knew that you had to and left. You were heartbroken to leave your father behind. But you had put him first on so many occasions, and what did you take from it? And right now, the Scaramouche held your hand, and eventually wrapped his arms around you to fly away. You felt safe and loved, more than ever. And as scared as you were, to stand up against your father and announce that you've been dating him, when your father did not want you dating anyone, except the people that he picked, well, you felt like you were with your true love. And Scaramouche's proud smile was everything you wanted to see. And right now, as he held you securely and smiled at you gently, kissing your forehead, you knew the days to come would be a lot more peaceful, filled with love and care, as you discovered that home is where the heart is, and your heart was totally with Scaramouche.